Bluebeam Revu page labels and bookmarks help you easily navigate a large PDF document. In this video, we will show you how to manually create page labels and bookmarks, how to save time by automatically creating page labels and bookmarks, and how to organize your bookmarks to make them easier to navigate. Let's get started. First, let's look at how to manually create page labels. As you can see here, I've got a document with 21 sheets in it. Looking at the thumbnails, some of these sheets have page labels, G001, G002, but a majority of the sheets are just labeled with their page number. There are a couple ways to manually create a page label. First, you can just double-click on the page label and edit it. Another way to add a page label is to select the sheet, right-click on it, and select Rename Page Label. Type in the name of your sheet, in this case A104, and it generates that page label. Adding bookmarks is similar. We'll switch over to the Bookmarks tab, and you'll see we don't have any bookmarks here. We can simply click Add Bookmark, and you can see it pulls in automatically the page label, A104, which happens to match our drawing number. So this is great, we can just hit enter. However, let's look at a sheet that doesn't have a page label. In this case, A200 has a page label of 8. That's not very helpful, but you'll see it automatically comes in as 8. So we'll have to add A200. Now, you'll notice that I zoomed in on this region. So if I just use my bookmark to go back to A104, it's zooming to the full width of the sheet. If I click on my bookmark for A200, it's zooming into the view I had when I created it. But that can be changed pretty easily. So I'll just zoom so that we have the full page visible. I can right click on that bookmark and I can say set to current view. Now when I change to 104, it's the full size. And when I change to A200, it's also the full size. The ability to zoom to a particular region when you create your bookmark is helpful if you have a specific detail you want to zoom into. So down here on sheet 20, you'll see we have a detail in the lower right-hand corner. So flipping back to the Bookmarks tab, I can tell Bluebeam to create a bookmark. And again, I have to change this to I501. And that is now set. If I flip back to another sheet, A200, and then I flip to A501, you'll see that I'm zoomed all the way out and seeing the full sheet. If I want to, I can zoom in on this detail, and I can now create a new bookmark. And in this case, I'll say this is detail 1, I501, and hit enter. Now I can use the bookmark to jump back to 501 full sheet, or I can zoom in directly to detail 1 on 501. So creating manual page labels and bookmarks can be cumbersome if you have a giant file with hundreds of sheets in it. Let's look at how to create page labels automatically. I'll flip back to the thumbnails, and I will come up to the thumbnails drop down and select Reset All Page Labels. And what you'll see happens when I say yes is that it turns everything back to individual page numbers. So now we don't have any page labels. Instead, we're going to do this automatically. So zooming in on my title sheet where the information resides, I can come up to the star and click Create Page Labels. This allows me to create page labels from bookmarks, which I don't have them all created yet. So instead, we're going to do this from page regions, and we're going to use the OCR technology to read the text and automatically generate our labels. So I'll select Page Region, click Select. Now I can draw a box where my sheet number is, and I know that that sheet number is always going to live in this region that I'm selecting. And you can see it comes up and it indicates region 1, and it's showing you the preview, I501. I want to add a little extra information to this. So I will type in 2 hyphens, and I will click Add Another Region, and I want to add the drawing title. So I'm going to select the region, and I'm going to make sure to select all of it so that even if this title is longer, it's going to capture all of that information. So now it comes back and says region 1, region 2, and you can see the preview is I-501 interior details. I click OK, comes back. I want to confirm that I want to do this on all pages. So I click OK, and now you can see that it's automatically created page labels for every sheet in the file. Bookmarks can also be created automatically. So flip back to the Bookmarks tab, and you see we've got all these bookmarks generated. I'm going to delete these just so that we're starting from a clean sheet. So I hit delete. Now we can come up to the star and use Create Bookmarks. There are two ways of doing this, like we saw before, page labels or page region. In our case, we've already created page labels, so we can go ahead and use page labels. And we want to be sure to select all pages and click OK. And you can see it's created bookmarks for all of our sheets, and you can now jump around the sheets. Now, just to demonstrate, I'm going to select all of these and say delete and show you the other way of creating bookmarks automatically. So again, create bookmarks. Instead, this time page region. Go back to select. I'm going to zoom in down here just to make it a little easier to see. My first region that I want to select is the sheet number. So I select that. And just like before, I'm just going to add some extra text. Click add, and now I want the drawing name. And again, make sure you select the entire region where the drawing title will reside. And it does that. Click OK. Now here's the key. You also want to make sure the page scale is set fit page. You could do actual width, full size, inherit zoom. Generally, when you have bookmarks, you want to see the overall sheet when you start. So I'm going to select fit page and click OK. And now you see all the bookmarks are automatically created. There are a couple ways that you can organize your bookmarks once you have them created. So you see here, it's just one big list. I'm going to go to my first plan sheet. And again, fit page, and we're on floor plan level 1. I'm going to create a manual bookmark. I'm going to use the drop down and say add before. I'm going to call this plan sheets. Enter. Now I have a bookmark for plan sheets. It's always going to go to the A101 sheet because that's the zoom I'm on right now. So if I click to 103, you can see down here 103. If I click back to plan sheets, it's going to go to the first plan sheet 101. I'm going to select all of my plans by holding down Shift. When I click 104, it selects all of them. Now I can click and drag these. You can see the little blue arrow pops up indicating that I'm going to nest these underneath plan sheets. When I release, you can see all the plan sheets are now inside of the overall plan sheet bookmark. This is helpful if you have a huge set, plans, details, elevations. You can then minimize and hide those plan sheets to make it a little easier to navigate around. So for instance, I can come to the first interior sheet in the I series. I can create a manual bookmark. I happen to accidentally create it below, but that's okay. Interior sheets. I can click and drag to move that back up. Now be careful, this is now nested, but if I move it over and pull it out so that that arrow is outside, it puts it up above and keeps it outboard. Now I can grab all of the interior sheets, drag them in, and make sure they're nested. And now you can see that's now a nested list that can be minimized and maximized. Now let's go back to that sheet where we had the interior detail. And again, we want to just create a bookmark direct to this. For instance, if you go to this detail often, you just want to zoom directly to it. So I'm going to just create a zoom window here, pulls it up, kind of center it on my screen. I'm going to create a manual bookmark, again using the drop down. I can say add child, and now I can say detail 1 I-501. And so now that's automatically a child bookmark. So anytime you're on any sheet, finish plan sheet, I can now zoom directly to the detail on 501. Now another thing you can do is change the font, color, and boldness within these bookmarks. So if I come back to plan sheets, select that bookmark, right click, and click Properties, you can see the title is here. I can change this to any color text. So for instance, if you want your headers to be yellow and bold, you click OK, and now you can see that the plan sheets text is bold, and I can do the same thing on the interior sheets. Change that to yellow and bold. And now that makes all of your headings stand out, so you can sort these in any manner you want. For instance, if you wanted plan sheets to be a different color, just to make them easier to find as you're scrolling through, you can change those to cyan. So you can see how this allows you to easily organize your bookmarks to make a very large file with a lot of sheets easier to navigate. And as always, head over to bbtoolsets.com for more tutorials or to download our Bluebeam toolsets for architects.